In the Husky Huddle, we gather round. Coach Human and Steve Cully were never found. They talk about the team with such zeal, strategies and plays. They analyze it well. The stadium's full of cheers and shouts. UConn's got spirit, we'll never doubt. Coach.
All right. Let's share our thoughts.
Oh, another glorious episode of Husky Huddle. We have so much spirit in the
Started off with the win's a
cold.
win.
Yes, Coach Schumann. Great to see you. And you are finding new ways to succeed, which I think we all have to do in life at this point.
Yes.
And the man himself, the icon, legendary voice of the Huskies, the best of the best, Joe D. Great to see you as well.
Good morning, boys.
Yo,
Much unpack from a brilliant Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. The stands in Buffalo, the glare off the TV, just from the sun. I was getting a tan and a sunburn from it. That was something else. So Dave had it right. You guys both had it pretty right. I was again way off. So I'm gonna go back to being a Debbie Downer and stop predicting them to come out of their shells and explode finally.
Well, until they do, you can't expect it. I mean, that's the bottom line. Until they prove they can stop a team late in the game. The offense was better balanced. The run pass was much better. 31 runs, 32 passes. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. And like Coach Morris said after the game, you'll take an ugly win over an ugly loss. And this one could have just as easily have been a brutally ugly loss.
Oh, it could have. And like I said, I gave Joe Vigiano credit. 50 seconds left. It could have been, here we go again. And we're going to lose another close one or go into overtime. And for him to make some key throws, leading them down the field for a game-winning field goal, that I think was huge for them to end the game strong and go down and win it and not have to go into overtime. That shows some level of growth, which I thought was positive. And they won on the road. And it's 2 in a row. So looking at the glass.
He had two huge third down conversions.
Huge.
On that drive. He had a 15-yard pass to your boy Juice Farine.
Yep.
And then he had the 15-yard pass to John Nider.
John, my God.
Get into position. And look, when you got a kicker as good as Chris Freeman is, you don't have to get the ball deep into the red zone. You can be on the fringe of the red zone and win it. So, hey, you know what? Let's be honest, kids. This is not a perfect team. It's not as good a team as last year's team under any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And now you take wins when you can get them. I mean, Buffalo's a bad team. But on the road, you get a victory. Now you come home and you play another team that's not exactly the 86 Giants.
And you had said it. You've said it all year. The run defense has just been troubling, and we gave up another 200-something yards rushing to this team
204
on 40-something carries.
Yep.
The quarterback I thought was awful. The starter was a UConn transfer, Tyquan Robinson, and he was doing well before he got hurt. He was a dual threat guy. And their best receiver, Josiah Gavings, was our number 3 receiver last year. He was out, and then they lost their starting center during the game. So that was just philosophically, Dave, that was the problem I had defensively, where I just thought we tried to do too much again. Now, we got out of the 3 safety look, which I credit him for. He was rolling down and keeping 2 high instead of keeping 3 deep. Now, they didn't have a running quarterback, though, which helped us because we struggle against running quarterbacks. But I just thought defensively, again, not being able to stop the run, giving up the 65-yard run on a blitz we didn't really execute well. That is what is concerning, because if you're giving up 200 yards rushing to a Buffalo team, I mean, what's going to happen going forward? Duke, Air Force, BC. I mean, that could get ugly.
I think that they're going to have a problem with those teams, no doubt about it. Defensively, offensively, again, I think that we'll move against most teams. I think, you know, unfortunately, I think most of our games are going to be the same way that each one of these games have gone.
I just would like to be one win by like 3 touchdowns against Central.
I mean, maybe there's one of these teams like FIU that's really bad in that level. I don't know, but for the most part, any kind of like team that has an ability to move the ball offensively, we're going to have a problem with, whether they're a great team or not. So, like, do we play UAB again this year?
Yes.
Right. UAB would be an example of that, right? They're really not a great team, but they do have a good offense, right? So, you know, traditionally that's good. So these games are going to be back and forth. I mean, I think all of these games are going to be back. I mean, I don't know about these bigger teams, how we'll be able, you know, if we'll be able to move on them or not, but we should. Our offense is pretty deep. I think it does a good job. There are some issues with certain things in tight situations that I think we struggle to make play calls on. But
especially when we had good field position.
We're pretty damn good from 20 to 20. You know what I mean? I think converting down and getting those things and getting the end zones until this game was pretty good, but then we struggled a little bit here this year. The other thing is our kicker is
Freeman's. Yeah, I mean, he's a Groza finalist. I think he's awesome. He's got good kickoffs.
And I think that's the hard part with the transfers. Like, you know, you're in a hit or miss mode. And like, you know, I talked to Steve a little bit before the show. Like, I think part of the issue is, and it may be on more on the defensive side in this case than the offensive side, because we have a lot of guys back.
A lot more new guys on defense.
So gelling is very difficult. And people can say whatever they want. You know, I said this to Steve. If a kid's a 5-star that transfers to another quote unquote 5-star school and they pay him a lot of money, you know, you're getting a Lamborghini from the dealership, right? If you're doing it on a budget, you're getting, you know, a used Corvette, maybe a used Corvair, hopefully not, but something along those lines, right? And so you're hit or miss, right? And so I think that
that's exactly what's been happening the whole year.
Bell's a hit, Pagano's a hit, you know, the kicker's a hit, right? And then some other guys are,
and Nick Evers,
they're not bad. None of them are bad.
No.
They're okay. They're decent. They're some guys that they might have thought were going to be stars just haven't turned out yet to be stars. Maybe they need time. But I also think like with 20, 21-year-olds, you know, whatever they're, you know, when they come to a new campus, no, they're still to me kids. And Joe probably
there's a maturity factor.
They need to figure out like, where do I fit in with this, you know, crew of kids and like, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm new here. I may only be here for a year or two. How do I? So some of that is always to me a reality with a transfer kid that does take some time, unless a kid's a 5-star, which is we're not getting those guys. And those guys have sometimes been hit or miss, but you know, you just know talent wise, you're getting a higher level guy. So even if he doesn't gel the way you want, he can still run and jump better than everybody else. So, I mean, I think that's kind of what you might have a little bit going on with the defense.
Joe, I wanted to ask you, do you think it's possible that we are playing up or down to the level of competition that we're facing? Like we played Syracuse, we played up to them, and then we've kind of been down for Delaware, Ball State, and Buffalo? Or like you said, we're just not as good as we thought we were?
As the greatest coach in the history of the New York Football Giants would say, you are what your schedule says you are. And that's what they are. It doesn't matter if you play up to Syracuse. Does that mean you're only going to play up to BC, Duke, and Air Force down the way? I mean, that's on the coaches. That's on the kids more than it is the coaches.
Right.
To be honest with you, you only get 12 chances a year to put your show on. So you better make the most of it. No, I don't think, Steve, they're playing up or down at the competition.
This is just who we are.
I just think they're basically a 500 team.
Yeah.
I think that's all they are.
And man, you were right about John Nider. I mean, whenever he gets in, he makes the most of his opportunities. And they don't rotate him in a ton, but when he gets his plays, man, he just finds a way to get open in clutch situations. I think his 2 catches were on big third downs. I just was so impressed with him. And they put him in the backfield a couple times and had him block, man. I mean, he's still a walk-on. I mean, he's not on scholarship at all.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I was impressed so much with him watching.
Because you need guys like that. You need a glue guy. You can have all the flashy Ferraris and the $400,000 car Lamborghinis and stuff, but you need a couple of Honda Civics to make things go around. And I'm not saying Nider's a Honda Civic. He's better than that,
No.
But he's proven to be invaluable. And I think you put him in the backfield, and teams don't know if he's going to throw the ball because they see the tape of him throwing the ball against Syracuse. So,
absolutely. Yeah, I did like that. Seeing him in, I like seeing him get more time. And exactly that. It's more deceptive and provides a little more versatility offensively. Defensively, I'm just so concerned that we can't stop the run. And I don't know if there's any way to fix it. There's certain adjustments you can make, but do you think just personnel-wise, the kids aren't that good, and we're going to have to live and die with trying to outscore people?
Well, I think
I know. I mean, Buffalo only scored 20 points, which is good, but still.
Well, they didn't even know. They only gave it 20, right? It was 2017. So they didn't
even get 17, right? Yes.
They didn't get to 20. I don't want to put it on one thing. I don't want to say it's the scheme only, or I don't want to say it's the kids aren't very good. But the bottom line is you gave up 204 yards to a team on the ground that didn't have their running quarterback.
Right.
And you let them march downfield on that game-tying drive and only forced 1 third down, and that was 3rd and goal. I mean, they basically cruised down in that 3-minute drive to tie
from the 9-yard line, right?
Right. Well, no, they went 57 yards in 9 plays.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
They went 57 yards in 9 plays. So, and you only forced 1 third down, and that was 3rd and goal. So you got to, and here's the other thing, and I don't know, Shu, you tell me if you think I'm wrong or not, but they just don't have playmakers on defense. They're lacking playmakers, especially in the secondary.
No, and
I would argue that may be why he is so aggressive. He's trying to put them in the spot that he wants them to end up in. You know what I'm saying?
He wouldn't play man coverage all the time. He plays so much man coverage.
He does it because he's trying to put the front in the position. I'm saying he
Oh, okay. I see.
You know what? Like he may be like, hey, listen, in order to get these guys in this gap, I've got to put them in this gap. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise, I got to make sure that I don't know that this guy can read, react, and get to the gap, right? So I'm gonna put him in the gap. So I know that this gap is taken care of, and I don't have to go and then we play from there. It's without being there all the time, I wouldn't know, watching them play, like if a guy is good at that or not good. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I think that may be part of the issue. He may also have so many of these hybrid guys that are, your 6'1", 200-pound guys. He may have so many of them and not enough of some of these specific guys that you might, in a regular kind of defense, and he's just going to take them and move them around so they don't get beat up physically in spots. You know what I mean? So
I think he has to because we're undersized. Yes,
I think that's part of what he's. If I were to get inside his head, that's probably like what he's trying to do, and he's saying, "Hey, you know, they're pretty good athletes, not amazingly physical, doesn't have phenomenal size. Let's put them where they need to be, and then let them be athletes from there." And sometimes they get caught. That's the problem. They get caught. They miss a tackle. They're out of position.
Two guys
and then
in
you
a
get a big play. So you kind of live him by that sword. And my guess is, usually I would say that most defensive coordinators, unless they're just lunatics, which some of them may be, but unless they're lunatics, if they have the guys, they'd rather them be able to react because it enables to play consistently much longer. You know what I mean? Versus having to dial a blitz constantly and take chances where you can get caught, right? Because especially with these spread offenses now, like they want you to blitz, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I said. I used to tell my guys get excited when someone blitzes. We're gonna have a big play.
Right,
because that's what happens.
Right. We break through it's a big play and there's nobody there. So that's my guess. And I think that's part of the issue defensively. Having said that, the good thing is that they're actually still winning these games. That's the positive.
Yeah.
Well, the positive is they didn't blow this game. Like the Delaware game, we kind of blew that. The last couple we didn't blow. That's good. Like there's progress from that standpoint.
And I look at it too. Like we're a couple plays away from being undefeated still.
I think you got to get past that now.
I know
because you're also a couple of plays away from being one.
Right.
So when your margin of error, and I know what you're saying, Steve, but when your margin of error is that slim, it's a thin line between 1-4 and 5-0, right?
You're absolutely right.
Which is why you take the win and you get out of Buffalo, and now you get ready for a mediocre, if not slightly bad, FIU team.
What did you think? Because Dave and I were talking about this in the era of the transfer portal. It seems like we are seeing coaches get fired much sooner.
Well, the Arkansas guy just got gassed.
As we saw the Arkansas coach get fired.
They're bringing Bobby Petrino.
Bobby Petrino. That's what I said. I was talking about this yesterday. Are you out of your mind?
Bobby Petrino's coming back to Arkansas?
He's the interim head. No, he was the OC there. He's the interim head coach.
No, I'm saying he's head coach. Oh,
yes.
He's the interim.
He's the interim head coach, and he already fired 3 defensive coaches today. Bobby Petrino. He's the cockroach.
Hide your wives.
Yeah. I mean, that just blows my mind. This guy.
Don't give him a motorcycle again.
He sneaks out of Atlanta.
CC Rider, baby.
To go to Arkansas. He rides on his motorcycle with 25-year-old Jessica Durrell, gets fired. And then he climbs back, goes to Louisville, coaches Lamar Jackson, gets fired from Louisville. He's at a Southwest Missouri State, says he wants to end his career there. Nope. Leaves to take the OC job at Arkansas last year. And
you gotta love college. You gotta love college football. Some of these guys, it is. I'm amazed. Like
Louisville takes him back, and then Arkansas does.
I think if you could just be such a great narcissist that nothing phases you, you could just keep going forward. It doesn't bother you. It's amazing.
No, I don't care.
Nothing ever bothers him. I mean, I almost slightly admire the fact that nothing, he is unfazed by everything that goes on around him. Unfazed.
This is what I wanted to ask Joe.
You know what it is, Shu, and we saw in Connecticut with a political official firsthand, and I'm not going to name the person, but you always think you're one step ahead of everybody and you can get away with stuff. And at the end of the day, 99% of the time, you can't. And I think that's what Petrino has working for him.
Joe, this is what I got to
He's
ask.
the smartest man in the room, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, David. He thinks he's the smartest man in the room, and he can outsmart everybody. But there's always one person who can trip him up. Always.
Joe, I got to ask because this was on my mind all night, and I know it's going to sound crazy. Do you think there's any way he knew his head coach was on the hot seat and may have sabotaged him because he knew he'd get the interim job?
No, because I don't think he would know that, Steve, because he got run out of town on a rail. I mean, he came back on a second chance, so he couldn't be gaslighting the guy who got fired.
Right.
I don't think so. I think this is, but I will say this, and I have no idea about the AD there. I don't even know who it is.
That's a new guy.
But knowing he had a guy who was uber popular when he was head coach there, the chance to bring him back on an interim basis, save the fan base.
It did.
Try to get things back in the right direction. That played in Petrino's favor.
Yes.
No, I don't think he sabotaged this guy.
Part of me thought that he might have because does points against Notre Dame.
Does Gus Malzahn become the next head coach there?
Dude, Gus Malzahn's tearing it up. I mean, he's doing a great job. He was doing a great job at Florida State as the OC.
I remember Gus Malzahn was the OC there, but before that, he was like a legendary high school coach there.
Yeah.
Legendary high school coach. He coached.
His name's in the mix, yes.
He has to be in the. I would guess he's in the mix. I would guess that he would be the lead candidate if I were to guess, since he's probably
Bobby Petrino's a lead candidate, I think.
Look at Bobby Petrino's resume. Louisville, one awful year in the NFL with the Falcons. 4 years with Arkansas, 1 year with Western Kentucky, back for 4 more years in Louisville, then 3 years at Missouri State, and then offensive coordinator at UNLV. That must have been interesting. Him living in Vegas. A year at Texas A&M as the OC, and then back to. I mean, this guy's a cat.
He's a hired gun.
Cat Petrino. He's got 9 freaking lives.
He's a mercenary. He's just a hired gun that gets.
Well, look, we had a guy here who failed miserably after 3 years and gets a new job at a better pay rate every year. So you tell me how that works.
But I mean, you look at it, and it's one transfer portal away. It's like Dave and I were saying, it's like either hit or miss. Like you see Texas Tech and Virginia are now these darlings. Coaches were on the hot seat or whatever. They go out, bring in 65 transfers, turn things around, and now they're visionaries. And at the other places that bring in the 65 transfers and it doesn't pan out, like Arkansas and Virginia Tech, they get fired after 4 games. That's what I can't believe. They're just
it's like we said, Steve, last week when we were talking before Shu joined us, is that there's no benefit to firing your coach mid-season. But a case like this, where you bring back a guy who with people, even when he went for the motorcycle ride, all the big donors for Arkansas football wanted them to keep him on as head coach.
Yeah,
right? They all did.
Yeah,
every single one of the Razorbacks wanted to bring him.
They had a rally. They had a rally to keep him.
Hey, I don't. In today's era, I don't know if he would have got let go for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he technically got let go
further than Bill Belichick dating a 25-year-old girl. You know what I mean? So I don't think that. And now, obviously, he was married and he was fooling around and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's less frowned upon. I mean, Lane Kiffin, like the stories around Lane Kiffin before his divorce are crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was him. It was because he lied to the administration.
That's
Why he
yes,
got
yes,
fired.
but I think that would be less of an issue, believe it or not. Now, if he was
now, yeah,
if
you
he
know
was
what?
winning as
You're
much as he
probably
was
right.
winning, because the boosters
The
want to
money
keep
that
getting the
brings in.
players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
You're absolutely right.
because it's a different time than the George O'Leary lied on his resume time. You know what I mean? Which lied on his resume. I bet you half these guys are lying on their resume now. You know?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I saw a great podcast where
Notre Dame, right? He was hired at Notre Dame for like a day,
hey,
and then got fired for lying on his resume.
right, from something
Oh
that
my God, I forgot that.
right. So
That's a great one too.
But it's a thing where I think that I heard on a podcast a couple of NFL players were talking, and they were talking about how like so many of the coaches, their whole key to their resume is who they coached, not necessarily that I made this guy, implying that I made this guy great, but really the truth is this guy was great. And if you could have enough of those guys on your resume, especially as a position coach,
I used to list that.
You can move up, right? You can move up tremendously. Everybody does it, right?
Yeah,
so
you list your all conference guys that you coach.
Right, of course, and in the college level. So those are now really, really key things to moving up. So it's not just like how good you are, it's who you actually coach. That's a big deal. Like what are the guys that you actually coach that made it to the NFL and all those kind of things. But yeah, I that would be an interesting place to watch. I mean, I would be shocked if they hired Bobby Petrino.
They said that he's in consideration for the head job, and he made it clear that he's interested in it. So he's got basically a 7-game audition. I don't think he's going to remarkably turn things around. He just fired 3 coaches. I mean, they're going to have a skeleton staff, although now coaching staffs are like 40 deep, but still.
Arkansas is an interesting place. Have you been to Arkansas?
No. Yes.
I've not. No.
Yeah. It's not anywhere.
That northwest corridor where Walmart is, where Walmart's based out of, which is really kind of like the enlightened and heavy wealthy area for Arkansas. And then you have the rest of the state, which is very very southern, very rural.
Yeah.
And so it's 2 worlds, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And two different contingents that are both rooting for University of Arkansas heavy that'll come together to pick the guy. So it'll be interesting to see, because Malzahn comes from the northwest area, the Walmart area, where all the powerhouse programs are, all the best football is played. In the old days, it used to be down in Little Rock, but now it's moved all the way up northwest because the cities of Little Rock have been – there are some powerhouses still there, but not – they used to be all the powerhouses, and now it's very poor in Little Rock, and it's not the same way. There's only a couple of them. Whereas now the majority of those kids are all up in that northwest corridor. The population has moved to that northwest corridor too. So it's interesting.
Joe,
their schedule's not easy. Just before we get off, because it's not hogback huddle.
It's brutal.
They're at Tennessee Saturday, home to Texas A&M, home to Auburn,
they
home
got
to
5 ranked
Mississippi
opponents.
State, at LSU, at Texas, Missouri. He's got to go 4-3, and I don't know if he can do that.
Yeah, not with that. And they fired the guy when he was 2-3, which I know they lost 3 in a row, but I still like it wasn't as horrible.
Well, they got beat 1,000-0 by Notre Dame.
Yes,
I'm sure that national 42. TV ass whipping didn't help the other guy's chances. So
it was 42 to something at halftime. But I was going to ask, do you think, if Mora wins the games that he's supposed to this year, ends up 8-4 again, and goes to a bowl game and 9-4, is he going to be an attractive candidate? Do you think he's someone who would be looking for his next destination? Do you think they're always looking for the next destination or the better job or the more money?
I don't know him at all. So I
I
can't
don't either.
I can't speculate on that. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not young. He's
No,
64,
no,
65 years old,
correct.
which is one, but he seems to be, he's in really good shape.
Yep.
He's built the program up, not
Yep.
over the top, but up.
Yep.
I don't know if his school was willing to take a chance on him for 3, 4 years, maybe. But I
Right.
mean, who's gonna, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, Steve. That's a great question.
Great
I
question.
don't know.
Yeah, because
It's
I always
not
wondered
like
that.
it's not like Coach Hurley, who's 51 and
Yes,
has everything ahead of him.
and he's made it
Morris,
known.
Coach Moore is 64, 65 years old.
Yeah,
He's already been to the top. He's coached the NFL twice.
yeah.
He's had
College
prestigious.
jobs.
He had a prestigious college job at UCLA. I don't know. That's a really good question.
If Hurley won a
I was
championship
wondering that.
this year, do you think Hurley would leave?
For the right offer, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe. Well, I mean, look,
for the right team.
the job that everybody thought he was going to eventually get was the Knicks job.
Yes.
And, Mike Brown, off his track record, Mike Brown's not going to be there forever. They took a step down getting rid of Tibbs for Mike Brown, in my opinion. So maybe Hurley hangs at UConn for a couple more years, and he's not getting broke by being at
No.
UConn.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
And there's a lot, even though college is more high stress now than it used to be. The NBA is a grind. You're dealing with grown men
Yeah.
who have their own ideas.
Tougher coach.
New
Much
York's a rough place. Just ask the European Ryder Cup team.
You're right.
But what happened there? I missed that. What happened?
The fans acted like jackasses.
Yeah. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing for our country
to be American.
Oh, God.
It was embarrassing.
We were typical Americans.
Well, I will say this before we get back to UConn football. It was fed by some of the media who was encouraging, it'll be the rowdiest Ryder Cup ever. It'll be the media built it up, and the fans now, just because the media might have built it up doesn't mean the fans have to go out and drop F-bombs and to Rory McIlroy and throw beer at his wife and stuff like that. That's not, I watched Heckle and Jekyll as a kid growing up. I didn't go out and beat the crap out of anybody,
Right.
because I watched violent cartoons. That's another thing. Get me going on that one at some point. But anyways, to get back to another point, it's just, I think Danny's got the world at his feet. And if he wins another national championship, then he really does become a hot property, and teams are going to throw money at him. So, but as far as Mora, I don't know.
You're right. I think
he might. He might have one more job in him. Put it that way. He might.
Right.
Yeah, because for long term, they're not going to want to bring someone in like that. I agree. And with just with the schedule that we're playing and everything, the question I had for you, Joe, this week, what do you think we're going to get for home attendance?
Oh, I don't know. I can't. You know what, Steve?
I just want to
think here's what I think we got to do. I think we got to get off the attendance thing, because the announced attendance and what actually shows up in the building are different figures. And everybody does that. Everybody on the earth does that. So if they get 3:30 on a Saturday against FIU, if they get 25,000 asses in the seats, then that's fine.
I would be happy with that. I would be happy with that. But I think, like what you said before, if we show that exciting brand of football, especially offensively.
Well, we haven't done that yet.
No.
We're 5 games in.
No. Well, I mean, we put up points, but we still haven't shown it.
Put up 20 against against Syracuse and 20 against whoever the hell we played this past weekend. They put up 23 against Ball State. So this idea that they're lighting up the scoreboard is kind of a misnomer. They scored a lot against an FCS school, and they scored a lot against the school that ended up outscoring them 41-38. And other than that, 20 against Syracuse, 23 against Ball State, and then 20 against Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's not
No.
a high flying offense.
No, not at all. And we're the only team in the country, or we're one of 4 teams in the country that does not have a turnover. And we've also caused the fewest amount of turnovers. So I think that is having a big impact. And, just offensively, Joe, do you just think, I think we have the talent and ability there. I just think it's an unimaginative kind of just flat offense. And I just think it's predictable. Do you see that with us? Like it's just kind of stagnant.
It's conservative. Let's put it that way. I think it's conservative. You gave Edwards the ball 15 times on Saturday, which was low. Fagnano carried it 6.
They let him run. I gave him credit for that.
The Coleman kid carried it 5.
Yep.
Rosa, I think, had 2.
Yeah.
And on the receiving side, they targeted Skyler 12 times.
Buffalo
has that in the stance. 12 targets, 6 catches for 54 yards. You got to get away. You got to find a way to get him spots where he's going to get more than 9 yards a catch.
Absolutely. And I thought that was the one thing they did pretty good against Delaware and Ball State. They were throwing him the screen passes and getting him the ball in space and letting him
they
work.
threw it to the tight ends 4 times total.
Juice, yep.
Juice and Honig. They threw it to Rosa and Smith twice apiece.
Poor
and
Rosa
then they threw it to Nider 3 times. They targeted your boy Porter 6 times. They only came up with 3 catches.
Well, because Joe throws harder than Roger Clemens.
Well, let's pump the brakes on that a little bit.
I mean listen, he's clutch, and I was very happy with the leadership he showed.
Yes.
And he put the team on his back that last drive, and he didn't get rattled. He made some clutch 3rd down throws to lead him down to win. And I love Joe Fagnano. I think he has been much improved from what he was last year. I think he's a great leader. I think from what I've heard, he's a great kid. And we're lucky to have him.
Especially for damn sure, because think where they'd be if they're relying. And again, this is not to throw shade at Nick Evers, but Nick Evers got his chance, got hurt, but then couldn't get the job back. So if Fagnano decides not to come back or isn't eligible for a 7th year, then you got to get somebody out of the portal. Then you got two kids from the portal, relatively new, one in his 2nd year, one in his 1st. So Fagnano's been a godsend. But
I agree.
That quarterback head coach dynamic is always an interesting one.
You said that, yeah, they're married to each other. But this is what I wanted to ask as well. Do you think it's more quarterbacks now are less unwilling to wait their turn? Because we had 3 quarterbacks leave in the transfer portal. And it was knowing that Fagnano he had 1 year left. And Robinson could have been one of the guys. That Cole Welliver that I like, the 6'7" kid, he could have been one of the guys. But do you think it's like they don't want to wait? Or do you think it's a situation where they just don't think they're going to have a chance to get the starting job?
Let's play a little game. Let's play a little game here. All right, you're Steve Cully, star high school quarterback from War Memorial High in Rochester. You go to UConn and you don't play. And you come home from Thanksgiving and this is what you hear from different voices. Hey,
Steve,
you're
right.
You can go somewhere else and play. Hey, Steve, you should have been getting a chance. Hey, Steve, you can do better than that. You get people, these kids get people in their ears, right?
Constantly.
Yeah. I didn't
right,
think of that.
I mean, seriously, that's the biggest cause for these kids all leaving. It's not money. It's them getting people talking in their ears, telling them how great they are. And if they were that great, they'd be playing.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think of that.
And it's not, by the way, them
Social
just
media. Yeah,
it's not them just saying it to them now as they're in college. They've heard it their whole lives. So as soon as someone says it to them again, they're like, "Oh, maybe it's time I move on because I've heard
And
it. I've heard
and
this so
some of
many
these
times."
and some of these kids, man, the first sign of adversity, they're
Yeah.
out of Dodge.
Yes.
They're out of Dodge.
Oh,
You know, the
well, now
draft,
they're incented to do it too. So
right,
they're
right,
incented.
right.
Well, that's what I find so crazy. But it seems obviously it's going to be more prevalent at the quarterback position because it seems like every team in the top 10, besides a couple, have different quarterbacks. They're all transfers. They all go somewhere else after a year, either for bigger money or if they weren't playing at the school before. And that's what I just kind of, because usually it takes time, like Joe said, for that quarterback head coach relationship to really develop and you earn that trust. If you're going year to year, is that trust ever really built? Or is it more of just a codependency? Like, I need you, you need me to keep your job, you need me to go to the NFL, and we're going to make it work. That's what I think.
That's an interesting. Codependency is a very, very interesting word, and not not an ill-phrased one. I think that is I think that is a key part of what we see now. And look, some kids stay. So you'll get there's some kids. I mean, I haven't combed everybody's everybody's roster, but you got guys who are in their third, fourth year doing well at a school.
Yep, Drew
You know?
Aller, Penn State. Yep.
Yeah, but you've also got guys who have jumped around, which is why I think, if I were king of college football, if you transfer to a third school, you got to sit out a year.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think
Make a penalty for being the lonesome traveler, And if
I
you
think
transfer in your conference, like in the old Big East, you got to sit out too.
yes.
Then kids aren't going to be transferring as much.
I think something has to be done to kind of curb it a little bit because when you're seeing so many kids, I mean, Dave, do you remember we looked at it in the summer and there were like 10,000 kids overall that were in the transfer portal that entered in both time periods?
Right.
That's just crazy to me. And that's not college football. That's more turnover than NFL teams have.
That's how it is now.
I know, but it just doesn't seem. It just. I know some teams improve overnight, and it's a great way to get talent, but that's just not what college football is meant to be. It's meant to be.
In the old days, all the old days are long gone when it comes to college athletics.
No, I know.
It's a whole new horizon.
It's a business. It's $1 billion industry. It's $1 billion industry now. And that's what just concerns me. But I like that they at least cut it to one transfer portal. It's only going to be in December. I know that they are trying to put the guardrails on for the 2 transfer limit, like Joe said. For if you do transfer a third time, you would be required to sit out a year. But I do get concerned if that does get passed, lawsuits again. And the NCAA has lost every single lawsuit. So that's what concerns me.
You know what? Even at some point, Hamilton Berger beat Perry Mason in a case. It was only one time, but at least he did it at least once. Maybe the NCAA could win a case in court.
No, I agree. But I just, when you look at, because I saw a story, a Power 4 starting quarterback, the average money that they're getting is $4 million. And I just look at, us, we don't have that. We don't pay anything close to that.
Yeah, but we're not a Power 4 conference, Steve.
No, but we would like to be. And
but we're not. But we're not.
We're not. But we talked about this the other show. Eventually, like I said, and you agreed, we can't last 5 years as an independent in football. We're going to have to make a move.
I agree, but you can't You
right?
can't use the Power 4 numbers when talking about us.
No. But I mean,
because that doesn't include us.
no, it doesn't. But eventually, we would want to go to a Power 4. We would not want to go to
Eventually,
a
I'd
MAC.
like to win Power. Eventually, I'd like to win Powerball.
That's true. That's true.
That'd be nice.
But do you think that eventually they will take us for football only, or do you think we're going to end up having to settle for a group of 5 conference?
Well, let's look at the leagues, all right? Let's
Yeah.
look at the leagues. The SEC, that's
No,
a hard
not
no.
That's
The Big Ten, that's a hard no.
that's
So then you've got the ACC and the Big 12. Are they
Well-
possibilities? Yes, they're possible. The ACC more than the Big 12
yeah.
because geographically
It's
we'd be a
fit.
better fit in the ACC. But I don't think the ACC is clamoring to
No.
bring UConn in.
No.
And it's
No, they're
not.
not.
And here's the thing: if you leave, if you go to the ACC for football, let's say you want to go to football and for basketball, Big East ain't going to let your Olympic sports schools stay. So
Right.
it's got to be all or nothing.
That's right. That's right. They want right. So that would be a challenge. That would be a massive challenge. And yeah. But I just again that's why I worry about our future so much, because I know we can't last as an independent. I know that we're playing a delicate schedule, so to speak, but we're playing teams that we can compete with. We're not necessarily punching above our belt as much as we used to, when we were playing the Michigans and the Tennessees all the time. But that's why I'm concerned about UConn football's future, because financially, I don't know where we go in the next 3-4 years. And, there are no more independents. It's just Notre Dame.
Right.
So that's why I worry about our future.
But I will say this though. I'd rather be an independent than be like UMass and in the MAC.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that UMass going back into the MAC.
Well, it's not just that. It's playing football on Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
This whole MAC attack thing. Give me a break.
MAC Nation.
There's nobody watching. There's nobody watching those games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
No, they don't make any money. They don't make any money. But I think at least we have FIU, and then don't we have a big game after FIU? Is that Duke?
Got a week? No. You always want to put Duke ahead of BC. You should. You know what? I'm going to print out a schedule and email it to you.
No, I got it here.
You got FIU, then you got a week
BC.
off.
Okay.
Then you go to BC and Rice. BC's 1-3. Rice is 3-2. See, I get ready for this show. I just don't sit here twiddle my thumbs.
Yeah.
Then you got 3 straight home games. You got UAB, which is 2-2. You got Duke, which is 3-2, and you got Air Force, which is 1-3, and then you finish at Florida Atlantic, which is 1-3. So there's only 2 teams on that of the remaining 7 who have winning records.
Right. So hopefully we take care of business against FIU. We should, at least at home.
I would hope so.
And then I hope we just play up to BC. I know we can beat Rice. I saw Rice play. I know if we play the way we're capable of, and I think we're better than we've shown. And if we're not, we're not. And you're right. The record is what the record is.
But you know what?
We very easily could be 1-4.
Don't you think Rice is looking at UConn and say, "Oh, we can beat them. They're at our place." FAU's saying, "Oh, we can beat UConn. They're at our place." Duke saying, "Oh, we can beat UConn." I mean, these
100%.
games are such toss-ups. I mean, I don't know what the early spread is for Saturday, but they're 2-2 with the wins against Bethune-Cookman and Florida Atlantic, and then they lost 34-0 to Penn State. And this past weekend, Delaware just kicked the crap out of them.
Delaware, man,
38-16.
Delaware is legit in their first year. So offensively, what do you think that we need to do more of to score more points on the? Do you think it's just being more innovative offensively, doing some different things, or just executing what we do better?
A little of both.
Yeah,
I just think it's a little. I think it's a little of both. By the way, first line of the week, UConn 8.5-point favorites over Florida.
Wow.
Over Florida International. That's a pretty big spread.
That is a big spread.
8.5
Dave,
points.
what do you think offensively? I mean, we got to score more points. What is the answer?
Scoring.
We can't change the kids.
I think what they're doing right now basically is pretty good. Other than I think maybe they should figure out how they want to integrate the tight ends. I think they failed on that part so far. But as far as utilizing receivers, they use Skylar Bell. They get him the ball in a lot of places. I
think they try to force it to him though a little too much. They got to be moving around a little more.
You can force it to. Who would you choose?
No, I agree that he should be your main target, but you see other
maybe use Mello more. Maybe
around.
They used Green a little bit in this last game. Juice with a big catch.
He is a mismatch.
I like Juice. That's what I'm saying. Use more like the tight ends are mismatches. They're all different.
Yes.
I think utilize those guys maybe a little more. I think the run game's pretty solid. There might be things they can do with misdirection, but overall solid. I mean, Cam is a stud.
I know he got hurt and he came back.
Skylar Bell's a stud. But yeah, I think Juice Farine is a matchup problem, and figure out how you can keep him in the mix because he'll play better. He was super pumped when he made that play.
He made the big
catch. Yes. He was super pumped, which tells me that he feels like he could do it. He just doesn't get a lot of opportunities, right?
No.
So, and maybe he has a little me guy in him. You know what? Use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he's an on the ball guy. When he's off the ball,
they did line him up on the ball some of the time, but
they did. But that's when I thought he struggled.
I think he's even more mismatched though there because now you're going to get a linebacker on.
Well, for running pass routes, absolutely. He's not the best run blocker. But when they put him in the slot and when he is a route runner,
what's he got to do? Zone block? I mean, he's got to get to the outside shoulder and could get control.
Yeah, he gets knocked back 5 yards. Just you watch. He gets knocked.
I watched the draw when he caught the ball. I watched him. The next play he blocked. He seemed like he was okay.
Okay. Oh, on the last drive of the game.
Last drive.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you get the kid involved, he's going to be. If you get the kid involved, he's going to be more involved.
Yeah. Believe me, I agree. I mean,
he's a transfer that we probably paid some money to. Use him.
He was an NC State guy. He's a great athlete. He's the best receiver out of the tight ends. And I think he does give you a lot of matchup problems. I think that Porter is someone that they have to try to get involved more. I just think, Joe, they do target Bell a lot, and you should. He's your number one guy. But like Lane Kiffin does and other coordinators do, when you have a star receiver, you move them around. And they did that a little bit. They put him in motion. Yeah, they put him in motion and had him on the move. But I think they got to come up with a little more creative ways to get him the ball in space like they did earlier on with some of those screen passes, some of the short routes, and let him just work once he gets the ball. Because once he gets the ball and he goes. That's the biggest difference with him. I mean, he's your home run hitter. And that's what I think we got to use him more for.
Yep, I agree.
And getting just however you can get him the ball, get him the ball. And I love Joe and everything he's doing. I love that we don't have a turnover. I think that saved us. I just expected more and better. And if this is who we are, and we're going to take every game down to the wire, then good. Then you know what? We'll at least learn how to win the close game. We're not going to blow anymore. and we got 2 in a
Oh,
row.
it's not. It's not, man. Oh, let's hold off on that one, big dog.
I know, but we got 2 in a row. I'm hoping we can build off it and get 3 in a row. That's all you got to take it one game at a time, right, Coach?
Yeah, I definitely think you got to take it one game at a time. Win this game, then we'll be in better position to win the next game.
Yeah, and then Mel will be back, hopefully.
I mean, listen, all these games are potentially a possible win because the bigger schools aren't that great this year that are on the schedule, and the other schools are okay. They're all potential wins. I don't know that I no longer think that we're running the table, but I'm just but I think they're all every game we should be in. There's no game that we shouldn't be in, no matter what happens. We just got to make sure we're on the right side of majority of these games. But I think if Mora is truly invested in staying at UConn, like if he isn't interested in another job at some point or something like that, I do think there's an opportunity for him to build it. It's just I'm not sure if
that's not his philosophy. That hasn't been his philosophy.
What do you mean?
His philosophy has been transfers. He said, "I'm
not."
No,
I know. I do. That was what would make me think that he's not there for the long haul.
Oh, right.
But I'm saying if he actually is, if he has another good season, there's an opportunity there, and he has to, if he wants UConn to take another step, he's going to have to push the envelope there and try to get somebody to help us take the next step. If it's a short run thing and he gets 8-4 and he's out after, then I think I think eventually we've got to find a guy that if Mora stays and that's the guy, great. If let's say Mora leaves, if that ever did happen, we have to figure out if we get a guy that at least is thinking like, how can I build this program, into a 5-year plan for a powerhouse.
That's right. For sustainability, no question, Shu. No question.
I mean, I was looking at, and Joe, you're definitely way more familiar with you, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was looking at like UConn's like winningest coaches, and like the winningest coach of all time is Randy, right?
Right.
74 wins. Then it's J.O. Christian from 1934 to 1949 with 66 wins, and then Tom Jackson with 62. Right.
TJ, really? Wow.
Yeah, TJ was there for
11 years.
Yeah, he was there for quite a while. Yeah,
I mean, you got to be at a place for the Randy and Coach Christian. They were here forever.
Did Randy have a losing record overall?
74. I'm looking at it right now. 74 and 70. Right there. You know what? This is before. No, this is before he came back. Sorry. So I'm looking at like a 2000. Well, I don't know what he won, but he still has the most wins. So he has a losing record overall. Tom Jackson has a slightly above 500. J.O. Christian is 56%. Winningest percentage wise, I don't have more stuff in front of me, so I don't know what his record is, but I'm looking from like the past stuff.
He was 6 and 7, 3 and 9, 9 and 4.
You'd have to go back to like 1899 to 1901. TD Knowles with 710 winning percentage. So but Skip Holtz was probably the next 50, basically 60% winning percentage.
And nobody ever thought he was staying longer than he did.
No.
He was definitely I definitely
he was honest about it.
Was Lou Perkins' transition to D1, right? So and when he took over the program, he was very young. And TJ, if we had stayed FCS, like we were FCS when I was still there, but my senior class was that first class that was brought in to be a Division I group. The Jump Cousins and those guys, that whole group of guys, they were brought in to really begin that transition. But I think if UConn, if Lou thought we were going to stay FCS, he probably wouldn't have canned Jackson as quickly. But since we were trying to move, obviously, to Division I, And by the way, that was when I was getting recruited. That was the
I
pitch.
know.
That was the whole pitch with Jackson, actually. So that was Jackson's pitch. That's how he would get a lot of those guys that were fringe FBS, FCS guys, you know what I mean, to come to UConn. That was the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it. I remember it clearly. He was, when it was, for me, it was between UConn, UMass, and Princeton. And he was like, UMass was up there, and all the guys, they kept showing me their rings. Like, every class has a ring. And Tom Jackson said, yeah, UMass has one, but we're going to be Division One by the time you're a senior. I said, Tom Jackson that man can sell ice to an Eskimo. So he can sell ice to an Eskimo, you know what I mean? So, but Tom Jack, yeah, I mean, to me, like, overall, that's not a sign of like an establishment of a place that's had a long-term powerhouse, you know, where you've Tom Jackson and Randy are are among the winningest guys and nobody else really, right? No one's got 100 wins.
No.
Dave, or I'm sorry.
That would be what would take us to the next level. I'm talking long beyond into my years.
No, I agree.
When I'm in my 60s, you know what I mean? Like Joe D's going to be in his, you know, there's going to be an 8 at some point in his digits at that point, you know. So, but that would be what we need to do to
get to that next level.
Get there, yes, because otherwise you're in the same. You're
living year to year. Yeah. Living and dying year to year.
Hey, Jim Calhoun is what took the basketball, that stability, right?
He built it. And
Gino Ariema, the stability, and then the championships. Same thing with Jim, right? The
patience isn't there.
Now, because the reputation is there, we could bring in coaches that want to be a part of it. If you know, let's say Gino left or you know, retired, but obviously with Hurley and so and so.
It's an attractive job. Yeah,
it becomes more attractive, I think.
Joe, what are your final thoughts on the Buffalo game as we go into FIU?
3-2, got out with a win. Nobody got hurt.
Glass half full.
Plane landed. You get paid off on wins and losses. So they're 3-2. Maybe the defense played a little bit better. I'm still concerned about the run, as you said, the run defense, and the fact that teams are scoring on them late in games. The offense, you know, it is what it is. You know, without Mel, you're missing the big home run hitter back there. I mean, absolutely. Edwards is more a grinder, and Mel's the home run hitter. You know, and if you got a home run hitter as a receiver, like you do in Skyler, and you got a home run hitter on the ground like Mel could be, well, then it opens some things up. And I like Fagnano. I think Fagnano's been a godsend. So, you know, as Coach Belichick said, it's on to FIU.
Yeah, he's improved tremendously since last year. Dave?
As Coach Belichick now probably says, it's where's Jordan?
Get my coffee, Jennifer.
Yeah, is Jennifer or Jordan, or what is her name?
Jordan, whatever the hell her name.
Jordan.
Yeah. Get my coffee, please.
You know what? Doesn't really matter.
No, a very listen. I'm in full agreement with Joe on this. I feel like, you know, we keep winning, and then hopefully some things will start to click. Yeah. And maybe we can go on a run. That's kind of how I look at it.
That's all you can hope for. Because I mean, when you play an independent schedule, you're not playing for a ring, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And I just think if they make a few adjustments offensively and defensively, they will be much, much better.
Steve, it doesn't matter. You're going to pick them 42-7 Saturday.
I'm not going to pick them 42-7. Listen, it's been 3 weeks in a row.
You're going to pick them 42-7 anyways.
It's been 3 weeks
in a row. Funny, before obviously I picked it only 7-point difference, which is it was actually less than that, but I texted Steve like after the first quarter. I'm like, I'm so wrong. We're going to blow this team out. Buffalo is terrible. Absolutely terrible. No, I'm like, you were right. They were way better, Buffalo. And then I kind of went away until the third period. Or no, I came back to watch the rest of it like in the fourth period. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? That's the score?
Yeah, and that's when I said that. That's when I said I wanted.
I'm like, they're so bad. There's nobody in the stands. I turned to my son. I said, holy cow, Buffalo still plays in the same stadium that I played them against. I couldn't believe it because I saw the track. The track around. I'm like, it's the same stadium.
Yeah.
And that's when I said I wanted to drink bleach in the fourth quarter after they scored. So, yeah. Well, another great episode of Husky Huddle. Joe D, thank you. You're the man. Coach Schumann, we're going to find ways to succeed one way or another. And just remember, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take two. Yes, I know Jackson Dart. We love him very much.
Jackson Dart.
We'll talk about him another day. We got one finally, and Brian Dayball saved his job. So when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and just put Jackson Dart in.
All right.